Are we flip videoing?
Yes, we are.
Oh, hello. Okay, we got everybody? Who we got back there? On the phone? All right. Okay, here's the deal. You remember we talked about the 6 positions in the new car walk-around? Not all of you saw that. But in the 6 positions, the same thing applies to this used car presentation. Okay? And position 1 in a new car versus a used car, where is position number 1?
Sticker.
Window sticker, right? So the same thing applies here, and assuming that we did our meet and greet, assuming that we did a proper guest sheet needs assessment spike, we went through all that information. Now it's time to go here. Number 1, let's make sure, particularly with a used car, that we're on the right used car. Is there another Cobalt like this?
No.
No, there's only one of its kind, and it's sitting on your lot. Charles, if I may?
Sure.
Charles, what I wanted to do, based on our conversation and what you told me, I've selected for you the 2009 Chevrolet Cobalt. You said you want to have something that was late model, right?
Right.
And fairly low in mileage. And if you can step right up here, Charles, I want you to see your Cobalt has 23,603 on the mileage.
Okay.
Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Great. Once I talk about, you can't do anything about the color. It is what it is. It's one of a kind. We make sure we're hitting the right year model, the mileage that's good for the consumer. And then we want to highlight, the way you guys have done it here, on some features that are relevant, important to your consumer. Fair enough?
Good enough.
I don't like we did with the new car presentation, we don't need to read line for line, line for line on the presentation. Just highlight the things that are important to your customer. Fair enough? If it's performance or safety, durability, dependability. From there, we want to drop down on your buyer's guide. Do you have a warranty with your used cars?
Yes.
Absolutely. What is your warranty?
1,000 miles.
The car rating 1,000 miles, 30 days.
1,000 mile, 30-day powertrain. Okay.
A lot of them are still under manufacturer warranty.
Okay. So you can tie those two in together, right? But for customer peace of mind, that's hugely important to bring out with the customer. I think we're all on the same page there, right? Still with me? So from here, let's say that Charles looks up, and I'm not bashful about the price. The original price was $14,850. What's the price of it today?
$11,925.
$11,925. If Charles barks about the price, which is what I want you to do, throw out my price.
I mean, that's a little high, a little bit more than what I spent.
Right, and I totally understand where you're coming from, Charles. Let's make sure that you're happy with the Cobalt. Make sure everything operates in proper order. And if the car doesn't meet your expectations, we wouldn't expect you to buy it. We're going to work out the best price possible because this is exactly what you told me you wanted. 2009 Chevrolet Cobalt, low in mileage. Let's make sure it meets your expectations. Is that fair?
That's fair.
Or there's so many different avenues that we can go with price, like we talked about with the new car presentation. All he's doing is making a statement. If he barks about the price, answer the question and move on. Continue your presentation. Fair enough? So where do we go to after the window sticker, if you will? Huh?
Front.
The front or under the hood, right?
Front under the hood.
Front under the hood. Same thing applies, Charles, if you would.
Okay.
When you put your hand down here, you're going to see a little lever, okay? It's right about here. So when you put your hand in, I want you to push it to the left, and you can lift your hood up on your Cobalt. Pretty easy, huh?
It was easy.
Excellent. Now, Charles, tell me, what's one of the biggest concerns when you're looking at a pre-owned vehicle? What's one of your biggest concerns with a car?
Well, really, if I'm buying a car with problems,
Okay, buying a car with problems.
yeah, if it's reliable, it's been beat up before,
Peace of mind,
definitely,
if it's been involved in an accident, those type of things.
absolutely.
Hey, great time to do a feel, felt, found. I can completely understand how you feel. What a lot of my customers in your same situation found that we can do feel, felt, found. You afraid to get dirty?
No.
All right, do me a favor, and you got to be prepared with this as well. Hold on to that. What I want to do is we're going to go ahead and first pull the dipstick, right?
Okay.
And I want you to take the end of this oil on the stick. I want you to get the end, okay? Rub it in between your fingers. And I'm going to take the excess right here. And the reason I'm wanting you to do this, Charles, is we can't see the internal workings of the engine. If we have any mechanical abnormal wear and tear, a lot of times in an engine you'll get that metal shavings or buildup at the bottom of the oil pan, which is going to pick that up on the stick. So what I want to do, and the purpose in rubbing this in between your fingers, is do you feel any metal shavings of any kind?
No.
Okay? Now, let's also look at the stick itself, okay? Does the stick look like it's had any, what do you call that, where they try to scrape off
Yeah,
the,
Brillo pad.
like a Brillo pad, any cokish deposits, anything like that on the stick?
No, looks good.
So, by the stick itself and checking the oil, what do we know about the internal workings of this engine?
Clean.
Yeah, appears to be good.
Appears to be very
Appears to be good. We're not making any guarantees, but it appears to be good. Even if we change the oil, if we had problems with the internal workings of this engine, we're going to pick that up in the bottom of that oil pan. Also, if this has been ran low on oil or it's been ran hot, we can also get good indicators of that on the stick itself from, like if you spill a Coke can, right? And it dries up and it's got those cokish little dots, little deposits on the surface, it would be the same thing on this stick that you would pick up. So Charles, pretty good indication we're in the clear here, okay? Go ahead and put your stick back in there for me. Excellent. Now, let me say this, which we can't do on the Cobalt, is I would do the same principle with the transmission. We can't pull the transmission because I don't see it, and I'm assuming that it's a sealed transmission. And again, that's the key in why you need to know your used car before you ever go out and present it. You have to know where the sticks are at, both oil and transmission, if it's sealed or not. You have to have a good understanding of the car. But I don't know Chevrolet product, and what am I doing in this presentation?
Showing us your way.
I'm going over mechanical things. Anybody can do this presentation. You don't necessarily have to know Chevrolet product to be able to do this kind of a presentation. Does that make sense? Now, so if we had the transmission, we would check that. Now, you said to me as far as peace of mind, and we also, that I pointed out to you, is to make sure that your Cobalt has never been involved in an accident. Fair enough?
Right.
So this is what we're going to do. A lot of times, if we've had any type of front end damage, side impact damage, and repairs were done, we can pick up overspray on around the doghouse assembly, sometimes overspray, and we also want to look for mismatched bolts. Okay? Now, today you don't, and with my experience, you don't see a lot of that, but it is good indicators. And also, if there's been a wrench taken to any of those bolts, that might give us an indicator that we've had some work done around this doghouse. Okay? So Charles, I want you to step on the other side, okay? And I'm going to look on this side, and we want to look at the bolts themselves, okay? Do all the bolts look like they match all the way around on the front quarters and up in the back area? Do you see anything that looks abnormal?
No, they match.
Okay, look up around the hood as well. Do you see any mismatched bolts?
No, it looks like they've never been touched.
I would agree. I also want you to look at any type of overspray. Okay? Do you see any overspray whatsoever?
No, I don't see any.
All right. If you would, pull back the sound installation. Tell me what you see in there. Any type of overspray? Anything goofy going on? Can you pull down the side on the corner there?
Looks
You see
good to
anything
me.
like that? Looks
No,
good?
looks good.
Okay. So based on what we can see just around the front, it appears that there hasn't been any body work or damage done to the Cobalt. Agree?
I agree.
Okay. Now, notice when you look at the engine on your Cobalt, is it clean or dirty?
It's clean.
Absolutely. Here at Toyota Melbourne, it's true that we do clean the engines. Why do you think we clean them and make them look real pretty for you?
Just to make them look pretty.
Just to make it look pretty, exactly. Yeah. And that's what a lot of customers just like you think. But there's more method to the madness, okay?
Really?
Here at Toyota Melbourne, we clean the engine because if the engine is dirty when we take it in on trade, sometimes you can have that sediment and buildup that gets up and around the gaskets that covers the hoses and the belts, and we miss the opportunity for a leak, an oil leak or a bad hose or a bad belt.
Okay.
So we purposely clean the engine because we want it to look like new for you, and then we also